Queen, Queen, go hide, Queen, you're live. All right, a very pleasant good evening. Today is Wednesday, the 27th of April, and I am excited about the class of SteelE. I want to say a pleasant good evening to His Excellency Dr. Donald Ewers. His Excellency will be joining us today in just audio mode. He's there, but he will not be on the camera this evening. I also want to acknowledge the Queen this evening. Always a pleasure to have the Queen with us. No kingdom is complete without the Queen. And I'm glad that the Lord chose to give the class of SteelE another Queen. Well done. I want to acknowledge also Dr. Charles Onyechi, Your Excellency, Dr. Charles in Nigeria. And in Nigeria, a lot of you would know that sometimes they take your electricity. The light is in your house, but they take the electricity when they choose sometimes. So Dr. Charles will be joining us quietly behind the scenes this evening. Adiola, pleasant good evening, Your Excellency Adiola, who is also in Nigeria. Welcome to the class. And Reverend Stephen Abu, welcome to class this evening. I also want to acknowledge in her absence, the Zionist is not with us this evening. Today being Wednesday, Zionist is not with us, but she sends her greetings to class this evening. Her Excellency Doreen Burunji, our COO, is still away on assignments, and her assignments, I think, will come to close in a couple of weeks, but she will be joining us officially on the 7th. I think once things are in order for the 7th, we'll make special arrangements for her to be joining with us. I want to acknowledge Her Excellency Dr. Anita Davis DeFore, who will be joining us also for the 7th for our anniversary event, which is the final event for the year, which is when the class of SteelE will eventually immediately after go on a 3-week vacation. And we're all getting prepared for that. Now, what I want to do this evening is I want to share with us anniversaries. I want to share on the subject anniversaries. If there's ever such a necessity for a thing, I think it is now. A lot of times we go through things in life and we don't have a period where we can reflect. You know, sometimes you're doing something and you go through a period continually, but there is no place for stopping, looking at what you've done, looking at the goals that you've set. Have you accomplished those goals? Have you met what you said you were going to meet? Have you done what you said you were going to do? So there's a need for anniversaries, and I want all of you that are under our teaching in the class of SteelE to think about that. It's critical. You need to be in a position where you can look and say, I'm going to give this a year, and each year I'm going to review it. I'm going to put some things in place that I want to accomplish. And then at the ending of that year, I'm going to look and see, did I accomplish those things? Have I set those things out and accomplished them successfully? I'm excited. I'm really, really excited about our anniversary that is coming up. And I'll tell you why. First Lady and myself, she has been a little rough on me pertaining to my books. She's been a little rough on me. She said, "Hun, it is time." Because we together, I personally have written maybe over 35 or 40 books that I have personally written already, completed. but they're in most of them are in manuscript form, and they just need putting together. And when we decided that we were going to do the class of SteelE, I said to the First Lady, these are the books that are going to be in our library. I'm going to continue to write. I've been writing for a lot of years. From the time I think I was maybe about 19, I have been writing. And I just have all of my manuscripts, everything privately, that I decide, okay, when will I put these together? And I remember in the earlier years, I looked at getting them published and everything like that. And it was quite costly back then. How many of you know back earlier years, if you're going to do a book, it was quite costly because you have to look at getting it put together, all typed up, and it was a long, tedious work. Then you have to get somebody to proofread it and make sure that it's okay and all that good stuff. But thanks to the advancements in technology, our books are able to get reviewed and grammatically checked for grammatical errors, etc., in a very timely manner. So the latter of my books, it has been a whole lot easier to get them done. As a matter of fact, quite a few of my books that I got done, I did them by talking and talk, type. So a lot of you should have that as a tool that you use so that you basically get what you're doing transcripted rather than, and then you just go in and edit it and make it look in the right way. So a lot of my books have been actual lectures that I have given. On the subjects, what subjects have I dealt with? I've dealt with leadership. I've dealt with human rights. I've dealt with scriptures, the Bible, and theology and my perspective. I've also dealt with subjects of mathematics and equations. I've dealt with geography. I've dealt with countries. So I've written quite extensively on a lot of subject matters. And I think that it is time for us to put those things together. In the latter years, I've been doing quite a bit about diplomacy, diplomatic training, and also since the class of SteelE has gotten to this stage, I've also been doing on mental health as well. So all of these are at the place where I think that I'm going to bring them online, going to bring them live. So with that being said, those 3 weeks that the class of SteelE are going to be closed, I'm going to be buckling down totally, and I'm going to be putting everything in place for our books, and I'm going to be trying to get them in order. So those of you who say that I work long hours, I'm going to guarantee you that in the next 3 weeks, when the class will still, after we've gone on our break, I will be busy. I'll be very busy. I will not be having to sleep like normal, but it's okay. It is because I want to accomplish something. I want to get closure on something. And if by the ending of that time, I have at least 10 or 15 of those books that are fully completed, well, that's satisfactory. But at least I'm going to have those completed books so that we can have them on Amazon and also in the class of SteelE library for sale. Now, that's quite important for us to put in place. So I will be focusing on that. But equally, I share that with you because those of you who already have books and manuscripts and different things that you've been doing, I challenge you. I challenge you within the 3 weeks that the class of SteelE will be on break or vacation. You guys can kind of put your pen to paper and and get some stuff together for your books. It will be advantageous to you. Use the time that we're away for the period wisely. So that's what I will be doing. And some of the books that I have written, I am going to get them published in hard copy. I'm going to look at getting them done. We've already got a lot of things in place, so I will look at getting them done in hard copy. but then other things I will be looking at having them available online. Now, in looking at anniversaries, you have to challenge yourself to see, where am I at? And do I need to step aside and invest more time and energy and effort in accomplishing what I set out to accomplish? You have to. Because if you don't gauge and research and review and study what you're doing, sometimes you just go through a process without end. Are you with me? Without any value. It just repeats itself. And you need to be in a place where you can evaluate what you're doing. If I look and I say that from the time I was 19, I have been writing, and I still haven't published any of my books yet. If I look and I say that from the time I'm 19, as I mentioned, and I haven't published any books yet, then it will make you think, how comes you haven't published? Because of all the dynamics of life, because of all the different things that happen that stop you from doing it, that made you set aside your manuscript, the newer subjects that came up that you decided, oh, I like this subject. Oh, I like this. Oh, let's talk about this. And then the other difficulties of life. You leave one country, you go to another country, or you go through a change of relationships, or you change of business, change of health sometimes. And all of these things are things that get in the way, or should I actually say, they don't really get in the way. They're actually a part of the process. I'm going to say that again. They don't really get in the way. They are a part of the process. And what do I mean that they're part of the process? When you see somebody writing a book and they get that book published, the reason why it's such a great accomplishment is because it was done on the verge of many disappointments, many difficult things that they were trying to accomplish, many things that could have hindered them or got in the way, but they refused to throw in the towel. They stayed focused and they stuck to it. And they had a review time. So in light of looking at this anniversaries that we're talking about, you need to have a review time where you sit down and look at what you're doing. Okay. Now, anniversary comes, I guess, from that term, which is annually, every 12 months. You know, we have an anniversary, an annual thing based on the calendar that we live by, and it's 12 months. So every 12 months or thereof, you decide, let me look at where I am at now. When we resume the class of SteelE, the class of SteelE is going to resume on, let me go. The class of SteelE is going to resume, so there, 1, 2, 3, on the 30th of May. The 30th of May is, just 1 second, is the 3rd, 7th, 1, 2, 3, and then the 1st, 2nd, 4th. Right, so we're going to resume on Friday the 3rd. We're going to resume on Friday the 3rd. Please put that date down, Friday the 3rd, because on the 30th and the 31st, we have the summit here in London, and that's going to be a Herculean undertaking. So that's going to be on the 30th and the 31st, which is a Monday and a Tuesday. And then the Wednesday is the 1st, where I can assure you I'm going to have meetings on the 1st and the 2nd. I will still be in meetings. I might still have meetings as well on the 3rd. But what I will do is I will resume the class of SteelE. We will resume the class of SteelE on the 3rd of May, which is going on the 3rd of June, sorry, which is 3rd of June, which is a Friday. All right. So Friday, the 3rd of June, we will resume. All right. So you go through that period and you look at, what have I done? What have I done right? In the process of what you're doing, there are lots of things that you will do right. What have I done right? And then there are also things that you did wrong, or you could change the way that you're doing them, because the results that you got are not the results that you expected. Are you with me? So you decide, I'm going to change this model, or I'm going to change how I do this. That's important. It is very critical to be able to analyze, look at what you're doing, and make changes. Reverend Stephen is a farmer. And being a farmer is very interesting because it gives you an opportunity to look at things as they grow, and you watch them, you watch their progress, you increase the water if the soil gets too dry, and you don't water if the soil gets too wet. So you look at the progress, and then you manure if the leaves look like they're not green enough, they need some manure, you manure. And you work according to your crop, and you know when your crop is going to give you a harvest. So you have to be watching and monitoring your crop. You can't be watering a crop when it's time for harvest. That's not when you water, because that's when the crop is now, it's already flowered and it's already fruiting. So that's the time now when the crop is ready to harvest. And you don't want to be harvesting crop in a soggy, wet field. So you don't water during the harvesting time. And you look at, what do you do during that period? This end of the year in most businesses is when they look at balancing their books, when they look at saying, what did I earn in this year? How successful was this year for me? This is our anniversary. You look at your marriage, a relationship. This is our anniversaries coming up. And you sit down during that time and you're reflecting on, was I a good husband? Was I a good wife? Did I treat my children well? Are there any things that we need to change in the model that we have? Are we going to have to restructure some things and some decisions? Some of you, when you have kids that are in primary school, they're at home and they're close to you. Not many changes, but each anniversary of their academic prowess, or their academic venture, or their school life, each anniversary, each year brings new dynamics that are going to affect you as a family. When they hit the age of 11 and 12, and they're going into secondary education, it's going to change some dynamics because they're going to be going further from home. And they're going to be getting home at a different time, because no longer is the first school right there. Now they're going to a school that is a little further away. Why is it that way? Because they've learned how to walk the road. They've learned how to get to school. They've learned how to take the bus on a short journey. Now they need to spread their wings, and they need to go on a different journey, a longer journey. So now they're going now to secondary school, which is further. They learn to make friends. They learn to stay in boundaries. And we as parents have to learn now how to give them a little bit more space. It's a process. And then when they finish their secondary, that term comes, then comes university. And at university, some of them go to universities that are in the other city. Are you with me? Because there's progress. Every anniversary brings new things, new changes. One time you were able to be working at a small job because the cost of life and the cost of living was not that expensive. When they're in primary school, it's okay. It's not that big a deal. When they get into secondary school, it's more expensive. But come on, somebody, sending to school a doctor and a lawyer isn't cheap. So you as a parent can't be doing the same thing. You have to be at a place where you are growing, advancing, and increasing in productivity annually. Because annually, the expenses are going to be increasing when you have children. I'm talking to you in a subject and with an understanding that most persons would never have said to you. You can't be you can't be just doing a small job and take you and your husband together and you're happy you don't have children, but then you just have small job, the same thing, and then you take them to nursery and then to primary, and then you're still doing small job, and it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You increase continually in your abilities. Continually, you increase. When they go to university, now it's a time where the family's saying, we don't have them in the house. They've gone off to university, but our expenses are still great. Why? Because they're not in the house, but we now have to maintain the other house where they're at, where they're staying. We now have to look at maintaining that. So life gives us opportunities at each anniversary to determine I have to be better. I have to be stronger. I have to be more proficient. I have to be more self-satisfying. I have to be able to stand on my feet each anniversary better. And if I am not standing on my feet better, I need to be on the way to doing it. Now, the class of SteelE, it's a registered business, and we're supposed to be making an income. We're supposed to be. But how many of you know that when you start a business, the first 3 or 4 years of any businessman will tell you, the first 3 or 4 years, it takes all of your money, all of your time, all of your energy, everything you have, and it gives you back nothing. However, that does not mean that what you have doesn't have value. That's not what it means. If each year of your journey, you continue to add value to what you have, you continue to build, you continue to improve, you continue to advance, you continue to add value to what you have, at the time of harvest, you will reap a bountiful harvest. However, let this be clear. You cannot reap a bountiful harvest if you do not invest in your field. You cannot. You're not going to be able to easily send your children to university if you don't prepare for it and look at the stop signs and look at the things that are going to cause you to be successful. You cannot build an empire by just thinking it's automatically, poof, going to show up. It doesn't work like that. It works in steps and anniversaries. A lot of you might hear the word or the statement that is saying, Rome wasn't built in a day. The streets of Rome weren't built in a day, but they were fitted by stones put side by side periodically. And each year you look and see how far you've come in a year, and you decide, if I came 10 kilometers in 1 year, and I need to increase to be reaching 20 kilometers the next year, what does it mean? It simply means that as I look and I gauge at what I've accomplished in that year, I now have to double my efforts. I have to increase my capacity. I have to increase my team. And I also have to increase my production of raw materials. So I need to double my efforts to get to the next level. 2023 is going to be upon us. In the class of SteelE, it's going to be 3 years. I think this is our, we did 2019 to 2020, 2020 to 21, 21 to 22. I think so. 2020, 21. Do you know what? I don't even remember the years. They're flying so fast. But I think this might be our second or our third anniversary. Oh, forgive me. I don't remember. My head isn't there at the moment for this split second. But what I'm saying is we have a blueprint that I'm following. I've told you from the very beginning, if you look at our first videos that I've been talking about our books that I have, I've been talking about them. All of you know that I have all of these books. All of you know it. It's not a secret. All of you, as a matter of fact, in my Facebook, in my social media, in my YouTube, in the discussions on my LinkedIn, everybody knows that I have been writing seriously for a lot of years. I've been juggling so many things. I've been working and writing, establishing the class of SteelE and writing constantly. But you as an individual, you have to decide in yourself, what are you doing to get to your anniversary, and then to look and see what is the next year going to be like. What is the next year going to be like for you with your family? What's the next year going to be like for you with your business? What's the next year going to be like for you with the house you're building? With this business, what's the next year going to be like? How are you progressing? I know of a number of individuals, and this is what has happened to me, and I want to share with you some things called distractions. I want to share some distractions with you. I remember when I started to do my writing, and I'm going to use my writing because I'm excited that I'm focusing right now on getting my books and everything out. I'm focused on it. I'm actually setting apart time. I'm actually changing my calendar, changing my structure with my family. I'm changing everything because I want to complete the books. So it's a serious task and an undertaking. I'm pulling them out of the archives and sitting down and saying, oh, this is what is on my desk. Okay, I'm going to deal with you because you're now a part of the class of SteelE that I now need to put on the table. So I have to focus on you. So I'm putting them on the table. But here are some of the distractions that are important. The first and most critical distraction is this one. Write this one down. Please write this down. My book can wait. Write that down. It can wait. Why is that a distraction? That's a distraction because, you see, I've been writing from the time I was 19 until now. And by the way, this is not about my book alone. I'm just using my book as a parallel, okay? This is about your business. This is about your family. This is about you changing jobs. This is about you increasing your income. This is about you bettering your marriage or your relationship. This is about you looking at your commitment to your marriage, be it your relational, financial, or whatever else is in your marriage that needs addressing. This is about that. This is about your family. I'm binding back the relationships that were broken. This is about your friends that you've lost communication with. This is about your alumni. You were a part of your alumni, but you got too busy. It could wait. That could wait. This is about your health. Oh, I don't need to address that. That could wait. This is about your mentality, your mental state of mind. Sometimes you can get so overwhelmed and bogged down with life, and you think to yourself, oh, that could wait. I have to do this and do that before I deal with that. It could wait. This is about the career that is going nowhere. And you've seen it year in, year out. And every single period you look at, all you keep saying is, oh, it could wait. These are hindrances. These are barriers to your success. These are barriers to your completing what you started. These are the barriers. But this is the first and the most important and the fundamental one. It could wait. It could wait. It's not that important. It could wait. How many things have you looked at? And you know, the beautiful thing about being in a relationship, in a marriage, is that you have somebody that is seeing the things you say you need to do. I remember my wife when we moved from our apartment to our house, and you know, we moved from we were in a 2-bedroom apartment first, and then we moved to a massive 3-bedroom house, and you know, 2 master bedrooms, and a huge house that we moved to, just me and her, and we had we chose the house because at the time I was doing ministry, and we could house about 50 persons in our sitting room. In the sitting room of our house, we could seat 50 persons quite comfortably without any problems. And on our compound, it was a huge compound as well, all fenced around and everything like that. But everything from the house, I took it into our garage. And I put it inside of the garage because I said, I don't want to move them in the house, and the house has all of this clutter and things all over the place. You know what I mean? I moved everything to the garage, and the car used to park in the compound, not in the garage, because the garage had everything put inside of the garage. And I said, I will move things from the garage and get rid of the things that we need to get rid of, because we moved on, I think we moved into the house the 1st of January. It was a New Year surprise for my wife. And I just got the moving guys, just move everything straight into the garage. I didn't have time to get rid of, you know, there's some things you get rid of when you're moving into a new house. We didn't get rid of anything. And this is when we were first married as a husband and wife, and we got into our place. And my wife would always say, darling, you have to sort out the garage, hon, because our garage didn't close. So when you drive past and you look, you can see that inside of our garage, everything is packed up. And when you come home, every time you come home with when you drive the car, because our door into the house was right by the garage, so you have to walk past that clutter, that junk, things in boxes and everything right there. I'm going somewhere with this, what I'm sharing with you. And I just kept saying, oh, that could wait. That could wait. The house was in order and everything was nice inside, and the bed was set up, the wall rolls, it had built-in wall, everything was nice inside, you know, and there was no clutter. That's what made me feel really good. The space was there. The kitchen just had what was supposed to be the kitchen, and everything else was outside. And I didn't have a shelf for my books. I didn't have a place for my books yet. So all of my books and documents were outside in boxes. All of my books, my library, etc. Can I tell you something? Every time it was, those things could wait. It could wait. And then I started to discover that rats started to get into some of the boxes because it was outside. And I would go when I'm looking for something and I would discover, oh, dang, rats have built their houses in this place. I'm talking to you But I want you to see your marriage, your business, your relationship. I want you to see it through the eyes of this scenario that I'm giving you about my garage. It could wait. There are important things in your marriage, in your relationship, in your business, in your company that need your attention. But there are other things you're dealing with that makes you look at those things and say, it could wait. It could wait. It's not that important. And when I go in and I look for some of those things that I want, and I see the rats have eaten them, the rats have devoured some of my books, good books that I bit my lip. But guess what? What can I do? Come on, I'm talking to you. What can I do? It's deteriorated. It's gone. I blame myself for leaving them in the garage. I get annoyed, and I remember my wife saying, darling, you need to get those things out of the garage. But I didn't. What are the things in your marriage that you think need fixing, but you think it can wait? It can't wait. It will deteriorate. And the rats will come, and the rats will devour. The rats will build nests for their babies and devour those things. And you would think that those things are in that box waiting to be put on the shelf when they're good. They will never get good. The rats will devour them. And the only thing that you will do with those parts of your relationship, and let's pull one little part of a relationship. Let me pull it out. Let me pull it out for the sake of conversation and just to give you a little hint on what I'm talking about. Your sexual relation, you're married, and let's use sex, for example. Let's use intimacy. It could wait. It could wait. That would get solved eventually. Oh, it's not that important. We have 5 children already. What do we need with intimacy? Oh, yeah. It's not important. Oh, but they are rats. That's why, sometimes you hear the label, the rats. Sometimes they are rats that show up. And they devour your opportunities. Or your business. You've not looked at addressing your staff. You have people that are destroying your business, but you like them. They're destroying your business, but you like them. You don't fire them. You don't get rid of them. You don't remove them. I like them. And you keep them in office. Very soon your business will deteriorate. The rats that you didn't deal with. You didn't deal with the things that were necessary, and now they have gathered rats. And then I had to take my stuff in the box. I couldn't, do you know what's embarrassing? When you lift up the box, even the bottom of the box that was holding those things, the weather had dry rotted. And when you lift up the box thinking that you're going to take the box with the garbage out, everything falls out. The bottom of the box is gone. Your relationship, the bottom of the box in your relationship is destroyed. Your business, your family, your opportunity to reunite with that friend. Your opportunity to reconnect and make wrong things right. Why? Because of the greatest hindrance. It could wait. I could dare to tell you that I have lost manuscripts that I used to write by hand at first. And when I moved house, I lost manuscripts. Because I didn't attend to them. I said it could wait. I hope I'm I'm really getting through to you that are listening to this. It could wait. It's not that important. What is the second destroyer? What is the second destroyer? You see, it could wait. It's not that important right now. Is one destroyer. But can I tell you his best friend? His best friend is, I don't have the time. That's his best friend. I mean, those are buddies. They hang out together. I don't have the time. You see, it could wait. It's not that important. It's not the same as I don't have the time. Because you see, you could have the time. But because something could wait and it's not that important, you don't address it. But you could have the time. But this is also one of the destroyers of completing your projects. I don't have the time. You sit down and you look, and you didn't put the manuscript in the garage, you put it on the shelf. And you keep looking up at the shelf all the time. And you're thinking, I can't take this down right now. I don't have the time to do this. I don't have the time. And you give all the reasons. This is the best. This is, I mean, I could teach on this like a pro, like a professor. I don't have the time. You make up excuses, scenarios. I'm talking about when I come home, I have to cook the food. I have to do this and I have to do that. I have to get the children to bed. And then I'm so tired, I need to go to bed myself. Listen to me. You will never have the time. Never. You will never. Because when the children go to university, listen to what I'm going to tell you. Oh, it's not that important now. When the children go off to universities, when I'll do it. Nope, you wouldn't. When the children go off to university, you're going to be so worried, running around, running down, running up and down, dealing with lawyers, dealing with banks, dealing with working more hours so you can make more money. You will not have the time, oh. You will not have the time. You will not have the time. You have to make the time. The last class that we did, I talked to you about His Excellency Dr. Yours brought a lovely class about resting. I want to dare to tell you that resting is one of the most serious killers of dreams. Resting. Some people rest when they should work. There's a time and a season for everything under the sun. And some people are resting when they should be working. Some people are resting when they should be building and digging, pushing. Gotta get this done. But you're resting. How many of you see jugglers? They're juggling balls. You gotta learn how to juggle. You gotta learn how to juggle. So here's another thing. Here's another thing that destroys the opportunity for you to finish your book. I'm talking about my book. I'm talking about my book. And this is very interesting. This particular one is very interesting. And I want you to never forget this one. Never forget this one. Write it down. Losing sight of the purpose. And I'm going to explain it with this one. Losing sight of the purpose. So I'm writing my book. And I decide that in order to write my book, I need to learn to type. Just giving you an example. Just giving you an example. So I get a computer because I want to learn to type so that I could type my book. But then I discover I spend a lot of time learning to type. I'm not typing my book. I am learning how to type. I'm learning how the computer works. I'm learning what can the computer do for me. I'm learning what are the uses of a computer. And then what happens? I go down a rabbit hole. I forgot the purpose of the computer. The original intent was to write my book. So I go down a rabbit hole, learning, studying, and I get caught up not doing. Because I am learning how to use the computer. And then I'm discovering, wow, computers can do graphics too. Woo! I can do the backs of my books myself. Oh my goodness. So guess what? I start learning how to do graphics, designs, distracted. And then I start to look at publishing and the internet and what am I trying to say? A lot of people, a lot of us in our marriage, the marriage is going on it's on the rocks, it's difficult times. You go to personal counseling yourself. I want to find out what I'm doing wrong. 1 year in counseling, 2 years in counseling, no progress in your relationship because you're still trying to figure out what you're doing wrong. Your business, you need to go and do some business training. And then you get caught up in one course, then another course, then another course. Then you don't have time for your business. Your relationship with your family, you move to another city. And you want to fix the relationship, but you're too far away. And you start to look and see, how can I fix this? You're talking to everybody about the problem. You're talking to everybody about the relationship that is damaged. You're talking to everybody about what's going on, but you're never addressing it, never dealing with it. You lose focus on what matters the most. I'm going to share one more point with you, and then I'll tell you some good news. Share one more point with you, and then I'll tell you some good news. What are some of the other hindrances? Some of the things that I have observed, and I sat and I said to myself, wow, I never saw that before. I never saw it. This one that I'm going to tell you, a lot of us never saw it. Never saw it. Because it's so subtle. We lose the passion. It is so subtle. We lose the passion. It starts with your, let's use your relationship, and for the sense of the word passion, you when you first got into the relationship, there was so much excitement and so much intimacy and so much happiness. Then children came along and it changed. Because you decided it's not that important. You have other important things to focus on. And then when it started to become a problem, you started to make excuses. Well, I don't really have time for this. And then when it becomes even a greater problem, we go and we study and we start to look at, how can I fix this? I'm so far broken. I'm so far gone. How can I fix it? So we're studying how to fix it. We're studying how we're going to get it to work. We keep studying. We do research. We talk to others. And I'm taking you through this process because I want you to see this process is every single thing in life. Everything. This is a universal process I'm talking to you about. And then when you've gone through that stage, in the midst of learning, in the midst of research, in the midst of analyzing, in the midst of trying to figure out, sometimes you lose the passion. No more interest. No more desire. It died a sudden death. No, it was not a sudden death. It took time. The rats didn't just show up in my garage the first week I put the boxes there. Rats are blind, by the way. Most people don't know that rats don't see very well. And they map out their territory all the time. So the first time they walked into the garage when it was empty, they just keep moving. But this time they moved into the garage, then they start discovering, what is that? That's a box. Ooh. And then they go around the box and they start to gnaw at the box. Ooh, what's inside of there? Is there food in there? And then as they gnaw away at the box, then they decide they're going to get inside of the box. What is this good for? They go and they come back. And then they discover, ooh, this is nice and warm. I can have my babies in here. This is a nice place. And then they keep monitoring. This doesn't get any activity. Nobody don't come here. Nobody doesn't move these things. Nobody's not interested in these things. Takes a while. Doesn't happen overnight. Meanwhile, my wife is, darling, you didn't move the box. Oh, sorry, honey. I can deal with those next week. Then I walk through the garage, and every time I walk through the garage, oh gosh, I gotta move those boxes. I gotta move those boxes. Oh, I gotta fix that. I gotta deal with that. But not now. When it comes in, when you're confronted with it, when you're faced with the problem, I gotta deal with that, but not now. Not ready yet. I gotta find some place to put the books first. I can't move the books unless I have some place to put them. So I have to build a shelf. Or am I gonna build a shelf? Or am I gonna buy a place to put them? Am I gonna put something permanent? Or am I gonna put something? I gotta figure that out. I gotta figure that out. All along, the passion is dying. And when the passion dies, that's it. That's it. You need somebody that's going to come alongside of you. And every time they tell you, oh, you're good, your marriage can work, you guys could start by having great sex and great intimacy and great companionship. And I mean, come on, it's doable. You now have an arsenal to say to me, you don't know what I've been through. You don't know what our children has caused since they were born. You don't know all of these excuses. Your business, I'm tired, lost the passion for this company. You don't know the people that have robbed me, clients that didn't pay me, staff that they come and they get a salary and they just abandon me and they rob me every week. You don't know the amount of stock that have gone missing. You don't know how many courses I've taken in money managing, how many courses I've done in finance, how many things I've done in all of these things. You don't know what I have invested and how I've tried. You don't know. Don't talk to me about this could work. I've had enough. And at the end of the day, you get to that place where you recognize, wow, I can't deal with this any longer. And when somebody's trying to pump you and push you, it doesn't work. Your Excellency Adiola, I got your message acknowledged. I'm going to close with this. I'm going to close with this. You've listened to all of the steps of what could destroy or what could hinder. You've listened. Now I'm going to tell you the good side. I'm going to tell you the positive. Because it is important, the positive. It's very important, the positive. And I want to, for the positive, for those of you who are not spiritual or Christian minded, you know, just allow me the privilege of sharing this verse of scripture because it has always added value to my life. I've passed through many times when I needed this particular word, and I want to share it with you. In the book of Ezekiel, there was a question that was asked, Son of man. He was looking around and there were so many dry bones. He said, can these dry bones live? He says, thou knowest, Lord, thou knowest. So, but can these dry bones live? Your business, your passion, your desires, your goals, your hopes, your corporation, can it live? Can it survive? Is it possible? And he said, thou knowest, Lord. And the Lord gave him an instruction that I'm going to give to you. And I'm going to help you. I am going to help you. You're not watching and listening to this class this evening for nothing. There's a reason why you got attracted to this evening's class. There is a reason. There's a reason why this subject of anniversary have come up. Did I take notes for this? Did I plan this? Did I structure this? No, I didn't. I don't really structure things. If I structure things, you'll see a PowerPoint. My wife is the person that does that. She's the one that does those beautiful PowerPoint presentations. I free flow. I just flow. So her and I are different. I just allow things to come out at the appointed time. So this is one of those free flow messages that you're getting this evening in the class of SteelE. This is a free flow. This isn't structured or planned for. This is a free flow. It's a bonus class. Can these dry bones live? Thou knowest. And he said, prophesy. Prophesy to the winds. Prophesy. You see, all of the things in life that are getting in your way, there are winds. You get in a boat and you're sailing to a shore. And up pops a storm, you're rock climbing. Up pops this storm. And you're thinking, hey, where did this come from? And then you get contrary winds. that are pushing you away from your destination. You now have to speak to those winds. Listen, winds, I will not allow you to send my boat where I don't want to go. I'm telling you, I'm going against you. And you become resolute and focused, and you defile the winds. Because you know that storms of life, they have boundaries. They can only blow so much. But if you keep going, even though it looks like you're going to turn over, even though it looks like you're going to capsize, you just set your sail in the right place. And you know that you've got that rudder that is directing you to where you want to go, even though the wind is blowing you where you don't want to go. And you stay on course. Don't lose focus. Speak to the winds. Prophesy. Talk to yourself. My marriage isn't going to fail. My business isn't going to fail. The Castle SteelE is going to be a success. I'm going to finish writing my books. I'm going to get my books published. I am going to see that my children go to university. I'm going to see that my corporation hits $5 billion within the next 5 years or within the next 10 years. I am going to see I will be successful. I'm going to see that my health is going to improve. I'm going to see that I am going to get those muscles that I am looking for. I'm going to commit myself to the gym. I'm going to commit myself to working. I can see that my business is going to be the talk of the city, the talk of the nation, the talk of the nations. I'm going to rise up and I'm going to be successful. You have to speak to it. And I'm speaking to it with you. Everything that you want, you're going to succeed in. Everything that was going against you, that you thought it was not going to work, I laugh in the face of adversity. You are going to be successful. But I want to give you some points to add value to what I just said to you. You recognize that those things that destroyed your progress, you recognize now. You recognize now because you see, a lot of anniversaries have passed. A lot of years have passed. A lot of things have changed. So let me show you some things to help you on this side of the journey. You recognize that the things you thought were important, you recognize through hardships and difficulties and pain and frustrations, they were not. So guess what? All of a sudden, you freed up some time to write your book because some things you thought were important that were taking up your time, you've now put them aside. They don't hinder you anymore. They're no longer distractions. You recognize that as soon as you remove things that you thought were important, you've just fixed two problems. Problem number one, it's not that important. It can wait. And then problem number two, you don't have the time. So when you discover things in life that are not important, all of a sudden getting rid of those unimportant things, because you recognize now, because you've had a number of years to observe them, you recognize they're useless. They're fruitless. They're going nowhere. And the only thing that is good to do with those things is to cut them down and remove them. So now you have freed up a whole lot of time. You have time now. But then added to that, You have also become more mature. And you equally see the value in this thing working. You see the value in another 10 years of marriage, another 20 years of marriage. You see the value in keeping your partner happy, establishing and strengthening your relationship, your bond. You see the value in working towards bettering yourself so that your child could fulfill university. You see the value in pouring more effort into your business. You see the value in firing some people and getting some people from around you and out of your company. You see the value in doing it because you recognize they were unproductive. They're just dead weight, wasting your time and going nowhere. You see the value. And all of a sudden, you now have the ability to deal with those things. So guess what happens? When you do that and you get rid of those contrary winds, and the wind blows in your favor, and the wind blows in the direction that you want it to blow in, carrying you where you want to and not pushing you back from where you're going. All of a sudden, what happens? Passion comes back alive. And all of a sudden, you're passionate again. You're confident. You're excited. Hey! And you take that, you take that book up or that manuscript. Take that manuscript and you say, yeah, let me get this typed up. It's time to publish this. Yes. Let me take some more notes. This is what I need to do. And with that, in closing, can the dry bones live? Yes, they can. I'm going to share one of my books with you. It's a cover of it's a book that was gifted to me. It's a book that was gifted to me. And I'm going to share it with you. But I'm not giving you the book. I'm not giving you access to the book. You have to find out for yourself. But when I share this book with you, if you never read another book, listen to me. There are books and there are books. If you never read another book, I want you to read this book. Okay? I'm going to share it with you. I'm going to put it up here on the screen and share it with you. I want you to get it. Because this book will revolutionize your life. This book will change your perspective. I am not even getting any benefit from sharing and promoting this book. I don't even want any benefit because I have already got on the table over 30 plus books that I can assure you I am going to have them on the table this year. I assure you of that. There will be self-published. I am going to self-publish my books under the Class of SteelE umbrella. I will self-publish under the Class of SteelE. And if I choose to have them in the public domain, I will decide how I will make that happen. But I want to share a book with you. And when you see me write a book, all of the books that I have written, I'm going to add some value as a result of this particular book that I'm going to share with you. I want you to go and find it. And then after, you can read all of my books, because I can assure you, those of you who have sat and listened to me recognize I have a bit of knowledge, just a little bit. And this is the book I want you to read. It's not mine. It's not mine. I'm going to share the front with you. That's the book. You can pause the screen here and you can look at it, but that's the book. Building the Pyramid. Yeah? I'm going to share it with you. I'm going to show you. Yeah? I want you to see. The winning formula approach to delivering success on your organization's growth journey. That's all I will share with you. This book was given to me. And it has left an impact on my life. I'm His Excellency Dr. Michael SteelE. Yes, the dry bones can live. Yes, a dead situation can be revived and the passion can come back. I've died quite a few times and came back to life. Some of you have dry bones from past bad relationships. Some of you have dry bones because of bad business decisions that you've made. That's okay. That's a part of the process. Some of you have dry bones because of a bad harvest. You spent a whole year or a couple of years working and you got a bad harvest and you got dry bones. Can these dry bones live again? Yep, they can. Join us in the class of SteelE. And the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. Thank you so very much for listening to this evening's class. I'm excited, and the passion to write my books and complete them the past couple of months is greater than it has ever been. Watch this space. Thank you so very much. I'm going to jump straight into Dr. Charles for the discussion session. And we're just going to have a brief discussion because I have a lot of work that I want to do tonight. Got a lot of things to get done that I'm excited about. So Dr. Charles, good evening, Your Excellency, Dr. Charles. Unmute yourself and share your thoughts.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Your Excellency, Dr. Michael SteelE, and Your Excellency, Jeannie SteelE, and all the excellencies in the house. I think that this is a wonderful one again.
I'm listening.
Because you're talking about. And I have lost a lot of things in life because of this first distraction. It can wait. Your Excellency, my books waited and they never got finished. But when I recaptured the passion from last year, most of the manuscripts I had completed was a fresh one. And complacency is a problem that we don't know. If we don't walk about complacency, it will spoil so many things. Like you said, I don't have time. No one will ever get time. Time is created and made. If you don't make up times, you won't ever have time, because things that we consume time will keep on cropping up. But like you said, we have to set our priorities right. And we have to have focus on the vision we have and not losing sight of the purpose. If you know where you are going, the only thing you have to do is you prepare your mind for opportunities, work for a prepared mind. Like, I have suffered so many things in life. And when I came to the class of SteelE, I quietly listened. And whenever I see opportunity to further my vision, I note it down. And noting down is not enough. Thinking and planning is not enough, but relative action, positive action towards the work. And then setting visions and goals. Then the killer was that number 4, losing the passion. Once you lose the passion, the unction goes. And once the unction goes, man, you need a lot of energy to rejuvenate the unction. I remember what the Bible says about Jesus. It says, for knowing the glory that awaits for him in future, he despised shame and work. If we are able to see the vision of the glory that we want to achieve in our lives, then it is easier for us to start walking towards the vision and disallow every side attraction that will distract us and maintaining focus. Your Excellency, you did a young man's job, and you have done noble in this one. Most especially when you talked about the book of Ezekiel 37. Do you know what you are talking about? You told us to go and pick out the pieces of the broken dreams and dust it up. That vision, that books, that project, that business, dust it up and rejuvenate your passion and work on it, believe on it, act on it. Before you know what is happening, success is on your way. I cashed in on this. That was in February. And immediately I went and fine-tuned my manuscript that was in hand, then gave them for publication. But since then, I have finished another 3 manuscripts, because the passion, suddenly getting one done will activate the passion for others. And if I have waited, if one is not done, I don't think I will do another one, because frustration will set in and I will lose the passion. But Your Excellency, you have done noble. And may the Lord bless you real good in Jesus' name. Thank you very much. I am still your own, Dr. Charles Onyechi. Thank you, sir.
Dr. Charles, thank you so very much for your submission. And I equally want to appreciate all of you who have been listening in on this evening's class. I know that most of you have been off camera for personal reasons, but that's okay. And I had a fantastic time this evening with you. And with that being said, I want to thank His Excellency Dr. Yours, Adiola, Bishop Dr. Comfort Adu, Her Excellency Jeannie SteelE, the First Lady, Stephen, Abu. I want to thank all of you for being in this evening's class. All of you, if I didn't mention, please don't be offended. I didn't call you, but I saw you, and I know that you were there in the class this evening. And I want to encourage you. Speak to those dry bones. And yes, they can live. Thank you so very much to those who are on our Zoom network. Thanks you to the technicians and the people at Zoom that makes the Class of Steel possible through this platform. I'm very grateful and I appreciate this opportunity. Those on YouTube that allow us the opportunity to be here. I'm very grateful for that. And equally, I want to express gratitude to those on our LinkedIn family, our Facebook communities. You guys, without you guys, there is no passion. Without the opportunities that are afforded to us by our partners, our friends, and our associates, there is no passion. So I want to sincerely say thank you. I want to say thank you to my son, Joshua, because of him, all of this is coming together, because he has ignited the passion for me to recognize I have to prepare the next generation leader. And if I have to prepare the next generation leader, which is my son, and I then have to prepare the next generation leaders. Because when I'm gone, these messages will be here. That at any given point in time, my son will be able to go and say, let me listen. What would my daddy do at a time like this? If you've ever been challenged to go and do videos, you have young kids and you're aged, I challenge you, go and do these videos on YouTube and Facebook and talk to the world, but not just the world. Talk to your kids. Let your kids see your face and hear your voice, because when we're gone and technology remains, this is all they will get to see and hear. I'm His Excellency Dr. Michael SteelE. I love you guys. I appreciate you. And thank you for being a part of the Class of SteelE, the decade of success. See you guys in class on Friday as we look forward to another amazing class in the Class of SteelE. Look after yourselves and each other. And remember, if you get something that's good, don't put it in the garage and leave it unattended, where the rats, the mice will eat. Keep it at the forefront so that it reaches the storefront, or it reaches that place of celebration that everybody could say you attended to your business and that which mattered the most. Good night and God bless. Your Excellency, good night.